Coachy to the right side, a slap pass in front, stopped by Pine. What a stop by Kelton Pine and a stop by Alexei Chichkin at the goal line. Hayden Brown, back to the line, shot deflected, scores! Chichkin gets it to the net, and it's redirected home by Ty Spencer. He's got his 7th of the season.
That's right, another episode of Miller Time, brought to you by Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. Chris here, Kevin there. How are you tonight, Kevin?
Do I have to answer that?
How are you doing?
I baked some cookies today. That's the best part of my weekend.
There you go. Shovel some snow. Yeah,
Shovel some snow, bake some cookies.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't... it was a busy weekend for me doing other things. Maybe take my mind off a couple of these games that we saw. But we're here to talk about them, kind of, and the other happenings of this week. I guess we'll start at the beginning of the week. Another trade. Alan Miller.
Another trade. Working
his magic, I guess. But yeah, this was a bit of a shock, I think, to everybody.
This one 100% shocked me. I did not expect this.
Yeah, you didn't think really a 17 would get moved. I mean, they got to approve it / ask for it and as for Temple, I mean, he seemed to be playing pretty well, and I thought maybe he was coming along, making some progress. I mean, he's still young, 17, right? It's only his second year. He seems like he's got more confidence. But they decided to move him for Julien Maze of Everett. Another deal with Everett. So maybe there was some discussions on the last deal, who's available, who's not available, kind of thing, right? But yeah, your initial thoughts?
Like I said, I was shocked because I thought Temple would be one of the ones they built around.
So now you have the 4th pick in Hamilton, the 5th pick in Temple. That's kind of your building blocks for the next 2+ years here, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I guess not. I don't mind the deal. Like, I did like Temple. Like you said, he was coming around. He seemed to be like one of the core guys for next year after kind of thing. But when you're putting your stamp on the team like Miller is, it's time to maybe move, get him a fresh start, bring in Maze. Maybe Maze rejuvenates gets the Pats offense going. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really hard to expect that of a 16 turning 17-year-old. Like, you can't, like, both ways, Temple or Maze, you can't expect them to be your top player.
No.
Especially with the amount of turnover.
Yeah, so Maze was drafted 20th overall, I believe, and Temple was 5. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I don't want to say it's a loss for the Pats or anything. It's two similar players, I think, at this point.
Both smaller-ish guys. Both have some skill. Both seem to be, like, they're both quick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Miller's putting a stamp on the team. We before we started recording, we were looking at the roster, and it's like...
Well, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's another deal, shaking things up. This team needs whatever they can get, really. But I mean, when you are trading away older players as well, not including this deal, obviously, but there is going to be some down play, I guess. I don't want to say play, but like down results, right? I mean, this is turning into
you can't expect a lot out of young guys like that.
Yeah.
Especially when there's so many new ones in this team.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be hopefully a true rebuild here, and
it feels like it is, but
tear it right down and start over, right? And
you gotta stick with it. You can't just jump on the team. You can't jump on the coach. You can't jump on the GM. They're there are 24 kids here, 25 kids, whatever they've got now, that are playing. They're trying. They're
Yeah.
clearly outmatched these last two games. But it seemed like they were given their all, which unfortunately isn't enough against guys like Crystal and like
Iginla.
Iginla or Tej or whatever, however you pronounce it, and those guys. And like in Kamloops, they got Finney and Bame. Like it's pretty hard to match that offense with our offense.
Yeah, I knew Kelowna was going to be tough. Yeah, the record doesn't look great, but
They score
Kelowna's-
goals.
But they've been coming along lately, right? You know, obviously, Iginla and Crystal weren't there to start the season. They made a goaltending move, and they're starting to get hot. And Kamloops, you know, they're like we said, they're a 500 team. They were on a 4-game losing streak, but they showed up to play. And yeah, it was a tough weekend, but yeah, I mean, back to the trade. I mean, it is what it is. It's what's happening. We just gotta roll with it, and like I said, trust the process, and hopefully this works out. And you know, Miller, it's gonna figure itself out, right? If he was right or if he's wrong, you know, we can't judge that now. That's year or 2 years down the road, right? So
Yeah, you can't expect results today or
No.
tomorrow. You got to
Yeah.
give them a chance. Like some of these guys haven't even practiced really. Like they picked up Hamilton, and then he he literally went to that the Canada USA thing,
yeah,
and then he came back and he played again. So it's like,
yeah, he literally hasn't practiced with the team. So
it's pretty hard. And one practice isn't gonna build this team together. Like you can't expect a 17-year-old to run your power play with one practice under his belt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think Babcock is still out on PP1, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, throwing Hamilton out on 2 just because he's, like you said, he doesn't have any practice time, and just go out there and you guys figure it out. You guys are hockey players. You've played enough hockey that you'll figure something out, right? So,
Yeah.
As for the trade, we got some comments. I want to thank Casey Bryant, play-by-play of the Everett Civil Tips. He sent us interview with Steve Hamilton, the head coach, and kind of just commenting on the trade on their side of things, and kind of what they kind of expect from Cole, and what they or why they were interested in Cole. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting look-see on their side of things, wasn't it?
It's kind of short, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of information in the little snippet.
Well, I think he's got a lot of hockey IQ. He's a smart player. He's very skilled. And honestly, a big piece of it when you look at a transaction like that, you know, Mike's trying to not only build out the now, but the going forward. And Cole's a natural centerman, and we don't have very many of those. And, you know, sometimes hockey trades have to happen, and that was a hockey trade in every sense of the word. We gave up a really good young player to get a really good young player, and that a lot of it comes down to fit and identity and those sorts of things. And Cole has that versatility in his game to play center, play the wing. You know, certainly his upside is tremendous, and so you're making moves that are sometimes hard to understand from a distance, but you know, Mike certainly thought that one through long and hard, and it's for the good of the organization long term, and you know, I'm excited to see Cole. I think he was a top 5 pick in the Bantam draft, and you know, I think his upside is tremendous, and a change of environment sometimes for both players can be a good thing, and I think Cole's really going to benefit from the group that we have here.
All right, yeah. So thanks again to Casey for sending us that. That was great. So, yeah. Anything else you got on that trade? Kind of wrap that one up.
Yeah. Hopefully it works out for the Pats and for Cole. Cole's done really well already in Everett. Maze played 2 games here.
Yeah.
Or well, on the road. Like, it's pretty hard to really gauge.
Yeah.
Especially when you only score 1 goal
As a team in 2 games. Yeah, it's it's tough sledding for the whole team. So
Yeah.
yeah. I guess maybe we should touch on that CHL USA Top Prospects game quickly there. I don't know, turned it on. I watched that first game, and Team CHL came out and was just dominating them. Like, it was like, I don't know, it was like men amongst boys, it seemed. I don't think USA was ready for that. Like, kind of came out physical, and like just the way they moved the puck around them, it was wild.
Yeah, it was like an all-star team against a hockey team.
A regular team, yeah.
Yeah. They weren't they're I don't think their guys are all superstars, or like,
yeah, right.
they have a bunch of guys that are top end, but I don't know if
maybe not the whole team. Like,
yeah,
Team
I
CHL
don't
is,
know.
right?
I don't know how it's set up anymore.
I think it's just kind of the best guys they can get, right? And maybe somebody doesn't want to go, they don't have to go. And maybe, I know there was a couple of years ago, like half the team got drafted in like the first round, right? Like, I don't know what this team is like on the draft kind of ranking side of things, but maybe it's not as strong as that one a couple of years ago. But see
for them to do a 2-game series,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. And then like the second game was a little more close than the score, but Team CHL still kind of dominated. They were all over them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the shot total in the second game was, but it wasn't close either.
It wasn't close at all.
No. They just weren't able to finish as much as in the first game. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Team CHL looked good.
It was clearly visors versus cages, because there was a lot of stick work in that game. Well, actually, both games there was a lot of stick work. I don't know. I haven't seen that much stick work in a long time. But holy smokes, almost every skirmish, sticks were up.
Well, and even there's a bunch of high sticking penalties from Team Cage there. So yeah. There's Anyways, but yeah, so
it was interesting. I don't know if they're gonna do it again next year. They might.
Well, they plan to do it. Like, I think it's
with the whole NCAA, USHL, and CHL potentially expanding. Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah, stuff's boiling. Like, there's stuff's going down, right? Like, who knows what this league / junior hockey is going to look like by the start of next season, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, like we've already heard 2 teams want to leave the USHL to go to Ontario, right? So
I've seen a couple people. I don't really buy into the rumors, but that seems to be more than a rumor. But there's been a couple people say that there's a couple other places that want to join as well, like big markets.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
who knows, right? And if they're wanting to expand out that way, who knows who's calling the Western Hockey League, maybe wanting to join the Western Hockey League.
Yeah.
Like, they really need any more teams. Like, there's already 22.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I don't think they really need to expand out here, but who knows, right? I mean, the whole BCHL exodus, like, guys leaving there, multiple guys leaving daily, like, that's
there's
wild there.
There's like 20 some already in like the last couple weeks.
At least I bet you there's more than that, right?
Well, there's a guy on Twitter, or a person on Twitter that's BCHL Alberta Hockey or something, and they have like an ongoing list, and it's like 23 or something as official.
Yeah.
As of like yesterday or whatever it was.
Okay.
But it's wild how many players are jumping ship and coming back to the CHL.
Yeah, and they're getting in. They always said, oh, well, if you leave Hockey Canada, you got to, reapply to come in, and you're gone. You were supposed to be gone for the whole season, right?
Oh, I'm sure the CHL and Hockey Canada are like, okay, well, we forgive you. We didn't expect this whole NCAA stuff to go down as quick as it did.
That too, yeah, right. So, I mean, if kid wants to come back and play, they're not going to say no to that, right? Like, that just looks bad on you.
Exactly,
so, yeah. I guess the next item on the docket would be Logan Peskett being reassigned.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's another move there. But yeah, take it.
Had a strong preseason, had a slow start, had a couple really good games, and then kind of tailed off after that. And then he's been in and out of the lineup for the last little bit, and all of a sudden he's no longer with the team. So I don't know
So
what the deal is.
Yeah.
But good luck to him wherever he ends up.
Yeah,
If it's in the Western Hockey League or Junior A or wherever he ends up, hey, good luck to him.
Yeah, I was kind of had a little bit of high hopes for him after, like you said, that strong preseason. But I mean, preseason is kind of not a mirage, but lots of top end guys not there. So
exactly, guys playing extra different.
Yeah,
extra
younger
roles,
guys,
different roles.
Yeah, right. Younger guys, get a little more ice time, get a little more chances against like players, right?
Yeah.
So
different goaltending, different defense, all that kind of stuff.
So,
but it's too bad it didn't work out. But hey,
yeah,
good luck to him. All the best.
Definitely. Yep. And then I guess we'll jump into an interview with Julien Maze. Dante sent us his interview with him that got played Friday night, I think. Saturday night? I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember. One of the two games.
Yeah. He sent it to us. So, we can kind of get kind of first thoughts on Julien Maze joining the Pats here.
My name is Dante DeCarry, I'm pleased to be joined with one of the newest members of the Regina Pats, and his name is Julien Maze, as he comes over via trade from the Everett Silvertips in exchange for Cole Temple. And Julien, you haven't turned 17 just yet, so as a 16-year-old moving from Everett to play for the Regina Pats, you haven't come to the Queen City just yet. Of course, the team is on the road, but what's it been like for you?
It's been good. Guys are great. Welcomed me in pretty good, and just playing my first game was nice, and me and all the guys is good so far.
4 shots on goal. You almost scored, actually. In fact, there was an open net, and I think their defenseman blocked the puck last night. What was it like to kind of put on a Pats jersey and make your debut on Friday in Kamloops?
It was really cool. I've always wanted to be a Pat, and it was pretty cool to put on that jersey. So.
When Everett approached you about obviously accepting the trade to waive your no-trade clause to come to Regina, how excited were you initially when you had that conversation with Alan Miller to find out that you would have an opportunity to come to the Pats?
I was a little nervous. Obviously, I'm still 16, so it was a big shock to me and had to make a decision with me and my family. And other than that, I was pretty excited, but a little nervous too.
Not too sure how much ice time you would have had last night, but I assume that you're going to have an opportunity to play a ton with a much younger Regina Pats team. How much does that potentially excite you?
Obviously you always want to play as much as you can, but you also really want to win, and I want to help this team do that and go in the right direction.
You're from Edmonton, Alberta. Is there anybody on this Pats team that you're already kind of familiar with already?
I knew Reese a bit, Keats, and Cameron Kuzma. Me and Kuz hung out a bit in the summer and skate together a bit. So.
Yeah, you guys are only a year apart, right? So did you guys ever play against each other growing up or anything like that?
I don't really remember but we skate in the summer a lot with doing pep. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You also had the opportunity to play alongside forward Pat Parker-Burke, who, when I had the chance to speak to him, had just glowing things to say about you in terms of your work ethic and just how you prepare in the summer. I believe you've skated with Parker a little bit. He's somebody who's a Pats alumnus that has worked extremely hard to get to where he is. What's it like seeing guys like him that were late picks and have had the opportunity to play pro hockey just because of the work ethic and just wanting to be a hockey player?
Yeah, it's special just watching those guys. Bergie was really good to me everywhere I've been. Trained with him in the summer, and he's just a really hard worker, just a great guy to look up to and talk to, and it's a good role model.
Speaking with Julien Maze of the Regina Pats, you had the opportunity to play for a first-pace team in the Everett Silvertips. Played alongside Landon DuPont. What was it like playing with him? What makes him so special?
I think just the way he carries himself on and off the ice. He's just a great person, just hard worker, and just really smart, and just knows what to do, and just really calm.
He doesn't look 15, though. Like, when I had the opportunity to do an interview with him, and when he shook my hand, I was like, am I talking to a 15-year-old? Like, just the way he carries himself and stuff like that. Do you find that kind of remarkable?
Yeah, he's just really mature for his age, which he has to be, but other than that, like, he's just a great person, great guy.
What separates him on the ice, as far as you're concerned? Like, what's it like playing with a guy like him who just kind of sees the ice much differently than other players? Just
probably his skating, his hockey IQ, and probably his physical game is pretty mature for his age. One of the best physicality games you could probably see in this league as a 15-year-old.
Julien, what are some of your strengths as a player, and maybe one of the things that you could potentially bring to this Pats club?
I think my IQ, thinking the game at a high speed, probably my stick handling, being able to make plays under pressure and getting the guys the puck in great spots, and probably just my poise with the puck.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I heard from Alan Miller and the coaching staff is that your hockey sense is pretty high, especially for this level. Do you feel that when you're on the ice, you're able to like kind of slow things down? Like, what's it like for you on the ice to be able to kind of see the game a little bit different?
I just think off the rush, I think slowing it down a bit, not always going full speed, always looking over my shoulder, seeing those little slip plays or little plays that aren't there until a couple seconds later, and I think just off the rush, just slowing down. You don't always have to go 100%. The game's always not skated. Like, you're not going balls out. You're just always going slow. Like, you don't got to move your feet. And for me, I just like to watch a lot of NHL players and watch what they do off the rush, and that's probably my biggest key.
So do you feel that you scored the majority of your goals, at least in your entire life, off the rush? Or what are some of the areas that you kind of find that you have the most success on the ice?
Usually in the O-zone, I think maybe 10 to 15 seconds in off the zone usually are my biggest strengths. When the team isn't very prepared in the D zone with usually speed of my line, usually playing with pretty fast guys, and we catch them under pressure and usually capitalize on them there.
And do you find that it's been kind of an easy or maybe difficult transition in terms of getting to the front of the net? Because it seems like the majority of goals in hockey are scored within 10 to 15 feet away from the blue paint.
Yeah, I think I struggled with that last year. I didn't really go to the net, didn't really go to the hard areas, and then started to watch guys on my team do it last year, and then I think I brought that into my game this year, and it's been helping me out.
Who have you learned from the most so far in your WHL career, just kind of being in the league for a year and a bit?
I'd probably say Ben Hemmerling. That guy really taught me a lot. Roomed with him on the road, and he's just really good to me and taught me lots, and that's a guy that I'll thank and always look up to.
All right, Julien, just before we let you go, other than hockey, were there any kind of other sports that you would have played growing up as a kid?
Not really. I was always just a main hockey focus. So.
Do you find that helped you, or do you wish, looking back, that you had the opportunity to kind of do other things?
No, I always just wanted to play hockey. That was my main focus all the time.
So would you just go from straight to spring hockey, train all year round? What age did you start doing that?
I think 12, 11 started doing all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and best of luck on this road trip.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, that was Julien Maze there. Thanks again to Dante for sending us that interview. And then, we kind of touched on it earlier, the roster. It's really got Miller's fingerprints all over it now.
Since the beginning of last year, it's pretty clear. It's Miller's team now, so it's kind of like ride or die.
Yeah,
kind of. I guess. Like, what else can you say?
Yeah, there's
who's
what do we
here
count?
From before.
So you got Whitehead, Spencer, Pine, Huey, Bridgman, and then the 16-year-old group.
Yes. So since last year, the players that are on the Pats that Miller has brought in are Wilson, Fawcett, Moore, Bear, Maze, Eglund, Brown, Panalakis, Shantz, Chichkin, Babcock, Hamilton, Buchkowski, Deschamps. That's a lot of new bodies in a year and a half.
Yeah. Right. So then his draft of the 15s. So it's 3/4 Miller or more, right?
Yeah.
So
you can't expect success overnight.
No, right. And then you even look at the 17 age group, you got 2, 4, 6, 8. You got 10 guys signed at that 17 age group. 7 are on the roster playing. 3 are other places right now. Lots of signed 16s. You got 5 signed 16s. 3 are on the roster, right? So it's a young team.
And there's 5 weeks to the trade deadline. So there could still be, we're expecting more changes because Vaughn's sitting at home.
Yeah.
And who knows what the deal is with Peskett. I know they said reassign, but maybe they'll try to move him.
Yeah.
So there's still moves to come.
Definitely. And like I said before, you got 6 19s. So you'd like to maybe move 1 or 2 to get something for one of them if you can, rather than losing them 3 for free. Right. Well, I mean, Huey's gone. We know that.
Yeah, he's already signed to go pro.
He's signed in Europe for next year. Forgot to mention that. That came out this week. That's not a surprise. I mean, he's not going to play as a Euro 20 goalie, right? A 3-spotter, basically, right? So, but yeah, so he's gone for sure. So, I mean, is he tradable? Who knows? I'm not too sure, but
And there's potential that he could go to the World Juniors for Switzerland.
I think he probably is going. Is he not?
Most likely, yeah. But
So
nothing's official yet.
No, so you're gonna lose him for a while.
Then they're gonna be bringing in. They got to bring in Malacca or Chase.
Yeah.
Cruz, Chase. Yes, Chase.
Yes, Chase.
I was get his name backwards.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a young guy, and hopefully they get a chance to play because this last couple games the goaltending has been
not so hot. I mean, it's not all the goalies either.
No,
yeah,
it has been.
It's a whole team loss, right? But
yes, but from the Pine of 2 weeks ago to the Pine of this last weekend, it's night and day.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not criticizing, but it's clear. Like, the saves he was making 2 weeks ago, he wasn't making these last 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, both of them struggled this weekend.
Yeah.
That's kind of maybe segue into, we can chat about these 2 games briefly here. I mean, there's not much to say about them. I kind of thought Kamloops was their best chance to get a win on this road trip, and 5-0. I mean, penalties galore. That kind of sunk them.
Yeah.
Constantly in the penalty box. But,
and when they did have power play, the power play was not very strong.
No, it didn't look good at all. And like I said, you got Finney, Bame, a couple top end guys. You know, that's enough to beat this Pats squad right now, right?
Yeah. Keller, Lafreniere. So
yeah.
If you allow a couple goals in the first, it's okay. But then you allow 3 in the second, and then you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It was
especially when they're having trouble scoring because they didn't score the game before.
Yep.
Got shut out again.
Last 3 games.
Yeah.
Going back to last week, so.
Yeah.
But it was not great at all. Then Kelowna. Well, like I said, Kelowna, they're coming on strong, and kind of opened the game though was a fight. Babcock and Graham. That was
set the tone. Kind of.
Yeah.
It seemed like everything was kind of going, and then all of a sudden it didn't.
And I see Graham got a 10-minute misconduct. I don't know why.
I'm assuming.
Maybe.
Don't quote me on this, but when he pulled Babcock's helmet off.
Okay.
I think that's why.
Okay.
They didn't say, but that's what I'm thinking. Because he pulled it off.
Gotcha. I know Dante was like, hopefully they don't get games
for stage fight because 25 seconds in,
right off the hop. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So. But and then it was early and often for Kelowna.
They scored early, and then minute and a half or less than a minute and a half later, the Pats finally got off the schneid. Spencer scored to tie it. The Pats didn't even have a chance to celebrate.
I know.
Didn't have a chance to even soak it in that they scored. And it was 20 seconds later?
Yeah.
2-1. Oh no, on the second shot of the game.
I know. And then Crystal right after that. That
on
was
the third shot.
Third or fourth shot of the game. And then and I think it was
they started digging a hole.
Lansard hit the post real early.
Kuzma hit the post.
Or was it Kuzma? Yeah.
He hit the
one
post,
of the young guys.
Yeah.
Before anybody scored. And then Kelowna scored. And I was like, oh man, could have been 1-0, right? That maybe changes something. I don't think it would have. That was my thinking after the goal 1. I was like, oh, maybe that could have changed something, right? I don't think that would have changed anything. It would have been 6-2 instead of 9-1. Sorry.
Yeah,
9-1.
They still would have. They would have found a way to win because
it would have been 9-2 instead of 9-1, right?
Crystal might not have had 5 points, but he would have still had at least 3 or 4 for sure because he was on a mission. The dude's got 47 points now in 18 games, I think it is.
Yeah, something unreal. Like, and like
Yeah, 42 points in 17 games going into the game.
Yeah, that's almost 3 points a game. Like, so.
Yes.
And I mean, there's some talk about, oh, is he not good enough, or his skating's not great, and they're talking, oh, is he going to make Team Canada? Like, how do you leave a guy like that off? Like,
he should get an invite for sure.
Like, yeah, he'll get an invite, but he probably should make the team, right? Like, if you're
it all depends on the Ontario bias, whatever that they usually have. So,
well, who's head coach this year? Or the GM is what's his name from Lethbridge? No,
yeah, I think so.
So
And
they'll have maybe a little WHL bias, but see what happens.
Yeah, well, they didn't do super strong last year, so maybe they need to do
Yeah.
a little more WHL bias.
Anyways, yeah, let's kind of move on from that. That was
That
couple games
was
were
rough.
ugly.
That was
Yeah.
rough. I stuck it out. I watched both games. I watched right to the end. I kind of zoned out, but I stuck it out for the boys. I was
Yeah.
hoping they would have scored a couple, but
I was watching the football game as well, and yeah, I had the hockey game on the laptop, and it was just like, I still watched the third period, kind of. I was going to shut it off, but I was like, nah, I'm already this deep in it, right? So, but anyways, we should move on. That's enough of that.
enough of that.
Yeah, and then like just quickly touch on these games coming up: Victoria, Vancouver, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then PG and Edmonton on the weekend. Sounds
4
like
games in 6 days.
Yeah, with a bunch of travel, right?
Bunch of travel, bunch of new guys.
Yeah.
Won't have a chance to probably maybe practice tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
on
probably gonna practice
in
on Monday.
Victoria.
Yeah, and then
So
you
they'll
might
have
be
a
able to
practice.
probably practice in PG getting there. Well, maybe not. I guess it's only one day
Depends.
off.
Vancouver
Yeah.
to PG. It's
That's probably it. They'll probably, I don't know. It depends if they go after the game overnight or they go on Thursday. So
I'm not even gonna guess
Yeah,
because the
right.
highways are screwy. Took them 14 hours to get from Calgary to Kamloops. They were stuck on
Yeah.
the highway. It sounded like, and
yeah,
I couldn't imagine. And then laying the eggs they did.
yeah, yeah.
That's rough.
But yeah, so it's a tough go. Victoria's pretty decent. Vancouver seems to be there hot and cold, but they've got some talent. PG maybe isn't as strong as people thought, but they're still pretty good.
They got Ravensburg in net. That doesn't.
Yeah, we've
like
seen him in that top prospects game. He was pretty solid. That
The
first
Pats
game.
don't score a lot of goals.
And against
If
a
they have
quality
Ravensburg
goalie.
in,
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And
I
then
hope they can
Edmonton.
score a couple.
Yeah, Edmonton's kind of doing all right, so it's gonna be tough. But yeah. Anyways, we should move on with that.
4 games in 6 days with travel is going to be tough. It's tough on most teams,
Yeah,
but yeah. What else can you say?
yeah, not much. But so I guess we're gonna drop this interview. We could have played this interview last week, but we're like, oh, there's lots of talk. Let's talk about the Howe trade and the new guys coming in. We got interviews with the new guys. We'll push Cole Temple till next week because we won't have an interview for this week. So, perfect, right?
3 days later.
3 days later, Cole Temple gets traded. So, but we're still gonna play it as a great interview. Super good kid, right? So,
Yeah, very nice young guy.
yeah, interviewed him a few times, and he's always just like, "Was that okay?" And I'm like, yeah, you're doing just fine, right? Like, you're totally good, man. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play it. Unfortunately, expat, it is what it is, but still, people still want to hear this, I'm sure. We're pleased to welcome Cole Temple to the show. Welcome, Cole.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'd like to get to know you a bit, get your kind of story out to the fans and stuff. So take it right back to where it started all. Born and raised in Brandon, right?
Born and raised in Brandon. Mom teach me how to skate at 6.
yeah.
I was kind of a late bloomer. I started playing at 6. I started playing hockey at 7, I think.
Okay,
Started
yeah.
skating at 7 or 6. Learned how to skate at 6, and ever since that, then just fell in love with the game. Went to lots of weekend games in my hometown as a kid. So I always wanted to play in this league as I grew up, and now that I'm here, time just flew by.
Yeah, for sure. So your mom got you skating, but your dad and your uncle and your grandpa got you into hockey?
You know what? Yeah, I think that's how it goes. It's hard to remember a lot, but my mom always liked to take me out to rinks and go skate, and she played hockey as well. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
You have any other siblings?
I don't have any real siblings. I have some step siblings that also play hockey as well at a AAA level, girls. So
Okay, cool.
They're good players as well. Yeah.
Nice.
So now knowing that you didn't start playing hockey until you were 7, did you play any other sports when you were younger? Or was
Yes,
hockey like your main?
Yeah, I was big on soccer. I was big on soccer as a kid. I loved playing soccer, and I loved playing golf as well. My uncle is a golf pro back in Brandon, so he kind of got me into golf at a young age. I like to swing the sticks around with my family, so that was also fun.
A very athletic family, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're always skater, always forward, always D, or
Always forward. Always forward. Played goalie for about one game, I think. I had to.
Yeah,
I let
yeah,
in like 12 goals, so that was the end of that.
So that was our next question.
Yeah. Grandpa didn't try to get you into goaltending?
Yeah, no, just player.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So who's your favorite player growing up? NHLer, Wheat King, whatever. Like, who's your favorite player growing up? I know you're still young, but who was your favorite player when you were younger?
When I was younger?
Yeah.
That's putting me on the spot there.
It's a good question.
When I was younger, I really liked Max Pacioretty. My favorite team is the Montreal Canadiens. I really liked Max Pacioretty when he played on the Habs, and now that he's not on the Habs, I like Nick Suzuki a lot. So I kind of just stick to my team there. I also like Austin Matthews now, but yeah, those are kind of my top 3 there.
So now, which players do you look at to maybe take stuff from their game and apply it to yourself?
Yeah, who do you pattern your game after?
I think a good 2 couple on the New Jersey Devils are Jack Hughes and Jasper Bratt. I think they're just smaller guys like me. How they're fast, good skaters, good with the puck, skilled. So I like to watch them, see what they do, and try and take some stuff from them.
So going back to minor hockey in Brandon, what's kind of one of your favorite memories, like a road trip or a tournament or something? What's one thing that stands out to you?
You know what? Actually, taking me back to I think it was U10, U9, I think, a tournament actually here in Regina. I think we were in the finals and we were down a goal, and I think I got a breakaway and scored with like 3 seconds left in the finals, and then we went on to win it in overtime. So
nice.
That was my probably biggest moment of my young hockey career. So
your favorite goal as a youngster?
Probably that's my favorite one. Yeah.
So growing up, you're always kind of, obviously with your dad and your grandpa playing, kind of the minor hockey was the goal. It wasn't any interest in the academy stuff, like the new age kind of thing to go. But
there was thought of it,
Yeah.
but I think just wanting to stay in Brandon and play with that group. We had a really strong group all growing up, so
yeah.
I think just playing with those guys, there was lots of opportunity, and we always had good teams, so I think we just stuck with that.
You said you always wanted to play in the Western Hockey League.
Correct.
When did you realize that could be a possibility? Like, how old were you when you figured, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to play in the Western Hockey League? When did you realize that you were good enough to do that?
Probably at around 14, I kind of had a big jump. I was always a decent player. I was always a pretty good player, but I never really had thought that this could be actually real. So like around 14, 15, just coming up to that year of getting drafted, I really started feeling it, and I thought like, yeah, I could play with those guys. So
Nice.
So going into the draft, what was kind of the thought? Am I going to go high? Am I going to go low? Am I going to get picked, locally or some team far away? Kind of what were you thinking?
I didn't care
No.
at all anything where I went in the draft. My goal was to get drafted and eventually play in this league. So I got pretty fortunate with Regina. I'm really happy here. So it couldn't have gone better.
Yeah. What did you think getting picked by Regina? Kind of maybe a rival to Brandon, but kind of close to home.
Yeah, it's really close to home, which was really nice. And I have lots of family that like to come lots. So, but my grandpa and dad for sure there was a couple of chirps in there for sure, but just being Wheat Kings. So, yeah.
What were you doing? Were you watching the draft online, or were you just following it?
I was at school. I was at school with a bunch of my buddies. We kind of weren't doing any schoolwork. We were just kind of watching it on a laptop. But it was nice to have that moment with all my best buddies. We kind of just had a group together, so it was really nice.
So coming to camp and then making the team at 16, what was that like, making that jump to the WHL and actually making the team?
It was huge for me. I think that it was a huge step for sure from U18 hockey to the WHL. It's a big step in hockey. How much bigger the guys are and how much stronger. So it was a big adjustment, but I was super honored to be able to put on that past jersey and play as a 16-year-old, which is also it doesn't happen a lot. So
no. How hard was it to maybe transition to a different role as a 16? Maybe you're not going to be scoring a ton of goals, and how hard was that maybe to learn some new things?
It was definitely hard on me for sure. Kind of with the confidence levels. I was just growing up as a kid. I was used to always scoring a bunch of those goals and stuff. So it was obviously different, but I learned a lot from the coaches. They taught me a lot. So I'm just bringing that into this year and for now on.
Well, now that you're 17, like how much more confident are you this year? You clearly have a bigger role this year.
Yeah.
Like how much more confident are you this year?
I thought about that a lot this summer, and that's one thing I really wanted to, work on my confidence. Just knowing what I can do and how I can do it. I think I up my confidence a lot, and I feel a lot better out on the ice for sure this year.
What are like a couple key things that you worked on this summer? I know I just talked to Brad and asked him about you, and he said he needs to skate more, use that speed. Is that one of the things that you really focused on this year? For sure, yeah. My skating, I've always been a pretty good skater, so I thought, if you're good at something, might as well get better at it, obviously. So kind of stuck to the skating and worked on that, and the confidence comes with the skating. So off the ice, you have a billet brother, a teammate on the
my billet brother is Tanner Howe.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some fun. So
pros and cons to having Tanner as your
he's a big role model for me. I really look up to him. I think he's a huge role model for me. I kind of try and take things from his game off the ice and on the ice, just how he eats, what he does. But I look up to him. He's a big role model for me.
Obviously, him being the captain and then going to some pro camps this year, Canada camp.
Getting drafted.
Yeah. He has a lot to offer you, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Who's your billet family? Give them a shout out.
Wickenheisers.
Okay.
Riley and Rochelle Wickenheiser, they're the best billets I could ever ask for. Me and Tanner are very thankful for everything that they do. So I couldn't be more happy, and great billet siblings too. So.
No, awesome. That's good. Yeah. No, billets are like lifeblood of junior hockey. They're so key to everything.
Feels like my real home there. So
a second family.
Second family for sure.
Well, now that we've covered pretty much most of the stuff, what do you see yourself doing after hockey? Think like 25, 30 years down the road. Do you see yourself coaching, or do you see yourself getting into teaching or anything like that? Or
I think just sticking with the hockey route for sure. Coaching, trying to help out maybe little kids with their hockey dreams and goals. So I just would want to stick with the hockey my whole life. Yeah.
Nice.
So off ice, you said you like to golf. What are some of the hobbies you like to do? Get away from hockey, enjoy some downtime.
I really like to listen to music. That's one thing I do a lot of, and obviously hanging out with friends and a little bit of video games once in a while, but nothing too crazy. Other than that, just hang around with family and just have a good time.
What kind of music are you into?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, speaking of music, what do you like? What is your go-to?
Kind of all over the place. I like country a lot, but I also like modern day hip hop. But I also really like 90s, 80s hip hop, 50 Cent and all those guys. So
nice. A little all over the board, eh?
Yeah, all over the board. I could listen to anything.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you into any TV movies? That stuff on the bus and stuff?
I'm not a big movie, TV kind of guy. No, I like to just relax, maybe talk to the boys on the bus, but annoy them. So yeah.
What's your favorite bus activity? Get into the cards?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Just talk with the boys and have a good time.
Even on the long trips?
Nap? Sometimes.
Are you a napper too?
Yeah, I could have a long sleep. We call it a sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, long bus rides, maybe have a long sleep. Yeah.
What kind of car do you drive?
I have a 2015 BMW 428i
Nice.
X-Drive.
Nice.
Nice car.
Did
Did it get through the snow here?
Well, actually, yeah, I don't even have my winter tires on yet.
Oh, not
Get
yet?
those on tomorrow.
Oh,
so
good.
Hopefully, it'll be better when I get those on, but I kind of got to drive slow. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got mine on Tuesday, so
Yeah.
yeah. Your stick tape job. What do you like? Toe to heel, heel to toe?
I go toe to heel every single time, toe to heel. I've been kind of switching up my tape job the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
Kind of just trying to find something right that feels right in practice and stuff. I like to try different things. So, I'll have a different tape job probably every weekend, just trying things.
Yeah, not many guys are toe to heel, it seems, but
Yeah, I like toe to heel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do I. That's how I roll. You have any other like superstitions, or you just change it up, do whatever you want?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot. Kind of obviously nap at the same time on a game day, eat at the same time, leave the house at the same time. I like to tie my left skate first. I like to. I have a ice bath before every game. Kind of submerge in there about 15 minutes before we go on for warm ups. So, other than that, not a whole lot. No.
Jerseys. What do you prefer? Do you like the Pat's blue and whites, like the original ones, or do you like the alternate red and whites? Do you have a favorite one of the four, or?
I think my favorite alternate is the red one, and I think my favorite, original. I think I like the blues.
Okay.
So
color guy.
Makes you bigger. and
color.
meaner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, flashy. Yeah.
All right, wrap it up here. What does it mean to you to be a Regina Pat?
It's a full-on honor. Oldest franchise in CHL history. So I'm very honored to put on that jersey every day and just be here with the group of guys that are in that dressing room and the coaches. And I couldn't be more thankful to be where I am and what team I play for. So I'm very thankful to be here.
All right. Well, thank you very much
Yeah.
for taking the time out.
Thanks a lot,
today.
guys. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Yeah, it was a good interview from the expat there. Hopefully-
The funniest thing about that is we interviewed him the night that the How news broke.
Yeah, the Wednesday night. Yeah, right.
The Wednesday night when it broke online. It wasn't official till the Thursday, but he knew, we knew,
Yeah.
and the wild thing is Chris thought of a new question. Well, kind of a new question to ask, like, so do you have a billet brother? And it was Tanner Howe. That
Yeah.
blew my mind.
And we all kind of, you kind of hear it in the interview too. It's kind of just like almost a silence there for a second, and everybody was just, all three of us were just like,
Awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of funny. So they all need some new billets. They've got or some new kids. They're
Yeah, both of them got
Empty.
traded within 4 days of each other or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
kind of funny. So I'm sure they'll pick up one or two of these new guys, right? So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
It's such a good kid, such a good
Yeah.
interview.
yeah, tough to see him go. But
we'll have a whole bunch of new guys to talk to pretty soon. Already have a bunch of new guys to talk to. So
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, with that, we should get out of here. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can only go up from here. I mean, this road trip is going to be tough, unfortunately, but hopefully we can get back to town here and get some practice time in, like I said, and get some chemistry going and start, on the road upward.
exactly, you can't get much further down. They need
No.
to get going. I'm sure they'll get going somehow. I'm not expecting a ton out of these next 4 games. Like, you never know.
No.
They could pull out a couple W's. You never know. I'm not expecting it, unfortunately. Just
Yeah.
the way things are. They just can't get going. They can't get off the schneid. They've scored 1 goal in the last 3 games. 4 goals in the last 4. So
Yeah.
they need the goalies, whoever plays, because I'm sure they'll both play because they play back to back, and then the Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday with the travel. They'll need to have the goaltenders stand on their head,
Yeah.
or they're done. Like they need the goalies to step up, both of them, what everyone's play. They need them to step up and make every save they possibly can.
Yeah, keep it
like,
to 2 or 3, right? Like
or
1 or 0.
Keep it out. And
Yeah.
like that, I know it's tough because they're getting a lot of shots against young forwards. Defense is kind of they were strong, but then they've kind of, I don't know, backed off. I don't know what's happened these last few games, but everybody's gonna step up. Got to keep the puck out. Got to figure a way to score. And yeah, hopefully they can do something.
Yeah. No, we'll watch these games and see if we can see some improvement and just see what lies ahead. I mean, there's talent on this roster. It's not like this team is bare, like, say, after, like, 2018, right? 2019, getting into those years, right? I mean, there's where there was just, like, listed guys playing. Like, everybody's drafted. Like, you know, there's high-end drafts. I mean, these guys are still young, but there's potential there, right? It's not like the cupboard is bare, right? So, there
Gotta
is
cheer
hope.
them on.
Yeah.
They're on the road. Can't complain about the ticket prices. Cheer them on as best as you can. Hey, you may not like the coach. You may not like the GM. Whatever. Cheer the players on. They're young kids. They're
kids.
trying. They're playing.
Yeah.
If they do good, awesome. If they can't pull out the W, hey, cheer them on anyway. Like, good game. Like,
Yeah. Try to stay positive. So.
yeah, stay as positive as possible.
But yeah.
They know they're not that good. They know they're not that strong. They've scored 1 goal in the last 3 games. They know that. They can look at the scores. They played the games. Like,
Yeah. Right. So.
and like I said, they're not at home. Can't complain about the ticket prices. You can stay at home, watch it on WHL Live or CHL TV or whatever they call it, and cheer them on or not. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh well, it is what it is. There's some late ones too this week. So. Yep.
Yeah. 3 9 o'clocks.
Yeah.
And Sunday
And
games
5.
at 5 our time.
Yeah. So.
Late nights. Very late
Well,
nights.
I'm up that late anyways. So
So
I'll be able to watch.
am I.
I'll be able to easily watch the games starting at 9. It's better for me.
Yes.
So, but yeah, with that, we should get out of here. Thanks for listening again, and yeah, stay up and watch hopefully some decent hockey. Have a good night.
Take her easy.